Hello, let's make a painting. Excuse me. We're gonna start putting water on the glass and let's see what it's gonna be today. I think I will start with the brown greenish. Let's see. Now I know I didn't post for a while, but life is keep going, so not much time. But we're back. So let's see, where is the green? I will take it straight from the tube. And maybe, no idea. Let's figure it out. Oh, push it a little bit. Maybe a mountain. No. Yes. That doesn't look like a mountain. Bushes. I will push a little bit more on the left side. So I guess the light is coming from the right side. No, trees. That look like a trees. Not forest, trees. I guess it's a... Let me see the foreground. I will just clean my brush on the foreground with a little bit more water. Alright, so that's look like a trees on a horizon line and tall grass on the foreground. I'm gonna emphasize a little bit more on the left side of the tree, so where is the shadow? Oh, I like the water on the foreground. This is very tall grass. I think I will keep that. Now for the sky. Just blue. And I just want to point it out that I didn't clean my brush perfectly, so I can still have some of the brown greenish paint from the previous paint, and I'm just mixing it with blue. So I can keep everything in the same palette. Alright, let's take a thin brush. I think I'm gonna add a black wash for the trees so I can represent them a little bit better. Oh, that's way too watery. I need more black wash. I like black wash for fine details. It doesn't spread around too much like the watercolor. It's more easy to control. If you want to make something more firm, probably that's the way to go if you don't want to use a graphite or something like this. I just realized the blue spot on the left side, where is the beginning of the sky above the horizon, that's too heavy. I will need to fix that. It's dragging too much attention. I want to emphasize on the trees on the right side. A couple branches, so I will take the palette knife and start scratching around, see what's going on. I wish I can. All right, so I'm gonna push some of the paint down and up so I can have a nice horizon line. But I want to get rid of this blue spot on the left side. It's way too heavy. That's good. Maybe a little hue in front of the trees, so I can have a mid-ground now. It will give more depth to our painting. Scratch a little bit so we can have more varieties. And a tall grass, just push it up. Damage the paper at this point with a palette knife so we can have a nice tall grass. Just grow it up from bottom to top. And you can see some places I scratch the paper so I can have a nice white lines where I damage the paper, and sometimes I just push down so I can have a more darker lines. I think I'm gonna, I'm gonna make more lines on the blue spot, so that will correspond to the lines on the foreground. So we can have a nice transition, lines in the foreground, lines in the horizon, some branches on the trees, and a little bit of red. Maybe it's bushes, maybe, well, yeah, it's some kind of bushes, but I think that's gonna give a very nice accent to our painting. Something to unite the black and blue. Well, actually, the black unite the red and blue, but it's a nice contrast with the blue one. And then it's look a little bit more alive, I feel like. When I'm making this landscapes, I always felt like it's need detail, but I try to ignore that feeling because you go outside, you see whatever you see, it's no details there. I mean, it's a full of details, but the whole thing is doesn't need something specific. It's just keep going. Remove some of the clouds, calm down the weather a little bit. I guess it's late of the day, but it's still pretty bright. Just a little bit more. Remove some of the paint. So we can have a nice puffy clouds going around, but they're not like sitting on one place, they're just blending with the sky. I think that's about it. Maybe a little bit more black gouache so I can have a more contrast, but that's gonna be it on the foreground, the dry black gouache on the kind of wet paper. I want to emphasize a little bit more on the trees so they can have a nice base to step on. And there you go. Watercolor, abstract, landscape.